Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first devlog for Alpaca Rancher. This is a game that my husband and I have been working on for a little over 2 months now, and I'm really excited to show you the progress that we've made so far. The concept for this game is a casual life sim where you collect and care for a variety of alpacas while exploring the world we've created. The starting concept for Alpaca Rancher was very basic. We knew we wanted cute alpacas, and we knew we wanted to be able to capture them and lead them around. James, my husband, and the programmer for this game, got to work in creating a system where one object could attach a lead to another object and pull it around. Meanwhile, I worked on creating our first version of an alpaca. Originally, I created the alpacas as PNGs rather than the SVGs we're using now, but I decided that the SVGs were much easier to work with from an art perspective. Next, I created an alpaca walk cycle for our furry friends. Eventually, it got old having a cube walk the alpacas around, so I created our first pass as a character model, as well as the corresponding walk cycle. We have discussed the idea of later adding character customization, but we're not sure at this stage. The current plan is if we don't add in customization, we will have 4 character models to choose from. I also created a shave state for the alpacas. James worked to implement the shaving mechanic into our game. While I was working on the early art, James was working on the foundational systems such as the interaction system, databases, player controls, and the basic AI state machine for the alpacas. Next, we moved on to creating the first tile set for the world. I wanted it to look colorful and soft, so we ended up creating this grass tile set. Next, we added in a few trees and bushes to make the landscape feel more alive. We also went to work on creating stables, or pens, for the alpacas to live in, and worked to create a system where they could be placed into the pens. Next, we went to work on the player farm. Originally, we wanted to use the same tile set as the grasslands, but thought it may be too similar, so we experimented with this dirt tile set. Ultimately, we decided it wasn't fun and didn't like the look of it, so we created a variation of the grasslands tile set to use on the player farm. Now that we had the foundations of the game laid, it was time to start creating the gameplay loop. We expanded the alpaca systems, starting with their wool regrowth cycle. We decided that an alpaca in captivity would regrow its wool once it was fed. This decision led to the creation of the foraging and farming systems. We added berries and apples to the trees so the player could collect food for their alpacas while exploring the world. We plan to add more fruit variants for foraging in the future. We also worked to create a farming and crop growth cycle. Crops can now be planted and will grow across a certain amount of days. Once completely grown, the player can harvest these crops and feed them to their alpacas. We also discussed a character skill tree that would allow the player to improve upon certain stats within the game. For example, if the player were to spec into foraging, they may increase their harvest yield per foraging attempt, leading them to collect more berries. The foundations of the system have been entirely laid, but we are still refining exactly what skills and category of skills will be in the final game. Given this new skill system idea, we added a press and hold mechanic when shaving the alpacas. This is an example of something that could be sped up by purchasing a character skill. Thank you all so much for watching our very first devlog. Comments and feedback are appreciated. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing. If you're interested in following our progress, please click the link in the description to wishlist our game on Steam. If you would like to watch active development, please follow us on Twitch. The link for that is in the description as well. Stay tuned for more devlogs so we can take you on the journey of creating Alpaca Rancher with us.